Good afternoon and welcome to my channel. This is the first episode of Tasty Torpedoes with me, your host, Rodrigo Pine. And today I will be featuring the Tier 5 Kamikaze R on the map Big Race. The battle mode is Epicenter. And as you see here, we are on the western spawn. Now I'm going to be headed southwest or southeast direction towards the island chain down there, because I'm expecting the enemy destroyers to appear there. They have at least 5 of them, and that area is very popular for enemy destroyers or destroyers in general to get in and use the islands as cover in order to launch torpedo ambushes and gun attacks. So what you see on this captain is a 17-point commander with radio detection. I am using that to get a rough idea of the approach of the nearest enemy ship, which I will be using to help position for my first torpedo attack, which is going to be purely speculative. I will not actually detect anyone for this first engagement. I am just trying to get some hopeful torps in that may make contact based on the radio detection indicator and also my experience of playing destroyers on this map. And one of the things that you'll find about the low tier Japanese destroyers is that the torpedoes reload fairly quickly, between 40 and 46 seconds. So you can use them pretty liberally. You don't have to hold back with them. And so what I'm doing now is I see that there is smoke in the horizon, so I am adjusting my position to loop back around to maybe see, maybe detect an enemy destroyer down there. Now, one of the mistakes I do make here is I am going to be detected by aircraft, and that is going to allow the enemy destroyers that just appeared over by the F line to send a torpedo attack against me. However, I am aware that I am detected by aircraft and will be maneuvering accordingly. One of the things that will become apparent in the replay is that I do have an advantage in experience against the enemy destroyers, and you can tell based on how they attack and what sorts of attacks that they use. So as you can see here are a number of torpedoes inbound, which I easily dodge. And now I'm just waiting to proxy spot the enemy destroyer, which is a Mutsuki. And as you'll observe, I am not actually firing directly along the prediction line. I am firing to where I believe he's going to maneuver towards, expecting my torpedoes. Now, the other thing I'm doing here is I am using my guns to engage this enemy right as another enemy luckily wanders into the path of my earlier torpedo spread that I was using against the Mutsuki. Now, my next maneuver here is I recognize that there is a low health destroyer nearby, and a friendly had already dropped smoke, so I'm going to make use of the smoke here to give me cover while I engage this destroyer with my guns. Now, one of the things that a lot of inexperienced torpedo operators do is they don't use their guns, whereas I will use my guns when I have the advantage, like in this situation. Now, the next maneuver that I'm going to be doing here is I do recognize that there are 2 more destroyers left, and one of them appears to be maneuvering to contest the cap in here. Now, the thing that's tricky about that is that I don't know if he's aware that there are 3 destroyers and 2 cruisers in here, so rushing a cap like this without support is going to be pretty suicidal. I did launch my torpedoes pretty much along the prediction line because it looked like he was maintaining his course and heading. And as you are about to see, he does maintain his course and heading, and gets taken out by my torpedoes, leaving just 1 enemy destroyer. Now, one of the things that I do habitually as a destroyer operator is I adjust my course and heading, as well as my speed. You may have observed that I did dodge some shells from a battleship, as well as the final torpedo from the enemy destroyer that I had just sank. Now, the next maneuver in this battle is I'm going to support my team with cleaning out these last 2 enemy battleships that are pushing along this flank. Because I wasn't initially sure they were going to be pushing north, I did position myself where I could intercept them if they pushed south through this channel. But as you're about to see, they are committing for a northward push. So I'm going to swing north myself to intercept. All the while I'm using the islands as cover, hard cover. Now the next thing you're going to see me do here is I'm going to hug the island pretty tight to get as close as possible to this enemy battleship. A couple reasons being, one, he won't be able to effectively dodge my torpedoes, and the second being that because he is in a Japanese battleship, his turret traverse is pretty slow, so he's not going to be able to engage me in the amount of time it takes for my torpedoes to reach him. Now, once I destroy the battleship, I'm going to swing behind his wreck to try to get some cover against the remaining battleship. He's low health and burning, so I'm going to engage him with my guns while my torpedoes are on cooldown. I had hoped he was going to turn in and my torpedoes that I launched earlier would hit him, but that was not the case, and he does get taken out by fire from the Emile Bertin. That just leaves 3 enemy ships left. The 2 battleships in the south, and then there's a enemy destroyer far to the east. Unfortunately, the amount of time left in the match is not going to allow us to finish off these 2 battleships, because in any moment now the enemy destroyer is going to be destroyed by our Kaiser in the east. Now, I did see the Koenig was turning in, so I did send torps along his route. If he was going to continue his turn, they would intercept him. However, the timer is going to reach 1,000, and those torpedoes are not going to have an opportunity to land. Anyways, I hope that this was an instructive game for those of you learning Japanese torpedo boats. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to leave them on my page. I hope you enjoyed this first video. Again, Tasty Torpedoes with Rodrigo Pine. Have a great day.